Well, Lucifer's Bible started in the heavens when he influenced a third of the angels to follow his perverted, idolatrous gospel. And then we find it again on earth in God's Garden of Eden, a place of perfection, a place where everything was good. Think of that. Everything was good. Everything was very good, the scripture says. But God cautioned the man and the woman to realize that there was also the potential for that which is good to be made evil. And that's where we find the scenario in Genesis 3. Lucifer, through the serpent, took everything that God had made good, perverted it, inserted a lie, inserted deception, inserted idolatry, inserted another voice opposite of the Almighty's voice. I hope you're starting to see the picture. It's so clear. The picture unfold. I know I keep repeating certain things, but I want to drive that home so you can see the clarity of the picture. All it took was Lucifer to beguile. And that's the word the woman used. The serpent beguiled me. Let's look at that word for a minute. What does the word beguile mean? The serpent beguiled me. All right, let's first of all look at our theological interpretation. Does it imply, does her use of the word beguile suggest that the serpent beguiled me to eat an apple? Ask yourself. Don't be afraid of questions. God is not, he's not intimidated by our questions, because he knows exactly what happened in Genesis. The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. So, theological interpretations have concluded that the serpent beguiled Eve, and she ate an apple. Okay? Do you think that's what happened? Or she ate an apricot, or a mango, or a pear. The serpent beguiled me, and I ate an apple. Well, we're going to have to prove that throughout the scriptures. I'm sorry to tell you, you can't do it. You can't find even a hint, a slight hint of her being beguiled to eat an apple. Because remember, the Apostle Paul refers to both Adam and Eve being in the transgression. So therefore, we've got to find some place in the law, in the moral laws, in the dietary laws, where eating an apple is a transgression. Once again, not going to find it. So, those voices out there that teaches that theological interpretation, it's a lie. It's an outright lie. Because anything opposite of God's emphatic, infallible truth, absolute truth, is a lie. That's why he said, let God be true and every man a liar. God is the only source of pure, unadulterated truth. And if you don't want to believe that, well, you're going to believe that something is, or someone is, or your own opinion is the ultimate truth. You're going to be influenced by something or someone. So beguile means to trick, to deceive, to mislead. There's different Hebrew and Greek translations of that. It also means to seduce. So we're going to let the scriptures speak for themselves. As I always say, let the scriptures speak for themselves. God knows what happened. He knows what he put in that Bible. And he knows exactly what the truth is. The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Well, first of all, he misled her with a truth. Or an untruth, I should say. He twisted the truth. He wanted her to listen to his truth. That's what I meant to say. He led her astray with his truth. God said they would die. The serpent said, "You will not die." That was his truth. That was Lucifer's truth. You will not die. Now, if you notice, the serpent never mentioned one time, not one time, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden. He did say, did not God say, of all the trees of the garden you may eat it? But he did not emphasize the tree of life. That's a very important key element right there. He took a portion of what God said. Remember, Lucifer will take a portion of what God said, but he won't take the whole thing. That's how he misleads. That's how he deceives. That's how he seduces people into spiritual adultery, into idolatry and deception and transgression. He quoted a portion of Scripture. Hath God not said, of all the trees of the garden you may eat of? That's true. The woman comes back and says, yes, except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. He told us not to touch it or eat of it lest we die. She didn't even mention the tree of life. Stop and think about that. Why? Because at this point, the deception of Lucifer through the serpent had already taken hold of her mind. The mark of the beast, which is idolatry, had already captured her mind. That influence, that temptation had already taken a hold of her. I hope you can see that, folks. I really do. And I'm going to cut it off right there because I want you to, if you would, I want you to replay this. Look at the scriptures and let the Spirit of God, his voice, talk to you. So next time, God bless. Remain faithful in the peace, love, and truth of Yeshua.